Well, it certainly doesn't solve all of our problems, but it doesn't really make any of them worse. What we seen the night was, you know, a much better performance against, honestly, one of the worst teams
I
I've
know.
seen kicking a ball about the park in
See,
quite some time.
Rangers in general, it doesn't matter how bad we're playing. I don't understand when we get into Europe, we end up a totally different team. And we saw glimpses of what we've seen over the course of the season throughout the game. We could have probably scored six, but at the end of the day, like I had us down for just the same old performances we've seen this season. But somehow, when it comes to Europe, we managed to somehow get a performance.
Yeah, well,
Somehow out the blue, no matter how bad we're playing, we end up getting a positive result, and it wouldn't surprise me. They like you say end up finishing third in the league and end up getting to a Europa League final or something like that, because it's totally bizarre.
I mean, you look at that game the night, and it's the complete reversal of what a game domestically is for
Oh,
us,
100%.
because you're playing against a Nice team there that had, one defender at times,
Mm-hmm.
whereas normally we're, playing against a bank of 8 or a bank of 9 players. That's very difficult to break down, but we can't use that excuse, because ultimately 90% of your games are domestic.
Oh,
It's the bread
100%.
and butter. That's what you need to take care of. That's where you need to win games. Being successful in Europe, it's great, but it doesn't settle the atmosphere amongst the fans right now, considering what's going on in the league.
It's a small jolt for the fans, because let's be honest, this result doesn't solve any Clement's problems in terms of fan pressure, in terms of the atmosphere round about the club, because we need to start seeing these kind of performances in the domestic league, because that's the most important thing at the end of the day. Like, if you're going to give me the choice between another Europa League run and competing for a title, like I'm picking competing for a title all day long. Like, Europe's
course.
a bonus. It's a bonus financially. It's a bonus in terms of the electric European nights that we love so much. Like, some of the best memories I've got in my lifetime are because of Rangers European nights. But I mean, does it do anything in terms of changing the view on Clement's job? No, but is it a cracker of a performance in against a team that we took advantage of fully? Like, because let's be honest, at times, like,
But did we really? I mean, we could have scored twice the amount of goals, but so we never took full advantage. Look, I'm not coming on here and going to start being negative. We won 4-1 in Europe at the end of the day, but I think that the glaring example of where Rangers' problems lie is, you see that Dessers miss, late on in the game, and it really astounds me that he's managed to keep his place in the team up until then. Now, we might still be in the same situation regardless, but I think what's blatantly obvious here is that when Danilo comes on at the weekend, you see a transformation in the team. Now, obviously, we're still going to drop points, but you just see something changes in that final third. Danilo's more active. He's got more life about him.
He looks more threatening.
Wants to get on the ball, wants to link up. Dessers doesn't do much off the ball, doesn't do much in terms of link-up play, and then, crucially, he'll miss sitters like that that are utterly inexcusable. So let's just rewind a bit. I said to you, I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, I says, I think that Clement might go with Igmani. I think he really should, and obviously, again, he's young. He's only had 3 starts, or maybe this is his 4th start or something like that tonight. But it gets to a point with certain players, Dessers, Tavernier, where their chances, they've had them. You simply need to I mean, your job is on the line as a manager. You're going to need to change something, because clearly you're not getting the tune out of this team and the group of players the way it was. And I think that's two major changes tonight, and you see some of the defending and just the play that Sterling was doing for right back, and it was night and day at times. Now, does that mean to say that James Tavernier will no start for Rangers again, or Sterling's secured that spot at right back? No, entirely. But we need a change. We're desperate for change. There's only so much you can do. Look, the manager's not going anywhere, at least probably until the new CEO and stuff like that comes in. Right, let's just make that clear. I mean, unless you lost that game, the following game, then something might happen. But even then, it wouldn't surprise me if we just simply stuck with Clement until the new CEO come in, or the new chairman comes in. We get that back. We get the stuff behind the scenes sorted. So what's Clement got to do? He can't wait until January. He needs to, play with the cards he's dealt.
Well, the thing is,
he had to make the changes. He'd done it. So credit where credit's due, I suppose.
Well, that's what you can only hope. Like, if you're making a change, like, again, hopefully it clicks in his head that, wait, the now, like, there's other attacking options here that isn't Cyril Dessers. Like, Igman is had some performances where he's kind of, the game's getting played round about him, but at the end of the day, like, I just don't see the appeal. I don't see why you would possibly sit there and think, like, Dessers needs to be a starting player. How many, as you said, he's had his chances. How many chances does he need in terms of starting a game? Never mind the amount of goal chances he's had.
Yep.
And listen, as you said, Igmani's still a young player. He's quite raw, but we're at the stage now where anything's really better than Dessers.
Well, exactly. It doesn't really matter what age the player is, how many times he started for Rangers or whatever.
What a game he played the night, by the way, Igmani. I thought he was brilliant up until he kind of gassed out. Like,
Aye, but look, the option was simple. The option was Dessers cannot start. I mean, you can't give the guy another chance.
Right.
So what are you going to do? The next man there that you turn to is Igmani. It doesn't matter what age he is, how many times he's played, whether you think he's ready for it or no. Well, unless you're going to put someone who is not a natural striker up front for Dessers, then you have to use that guy.
Aye. Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Because we'll get nowhere with Cyril Dessers leading that front line.
Aye. It kills.
That's for sure.
For me, it kills every single attack. He kills every single attack. He's probably the most frustrating player to watch. I remember in a long time the most frustrating Rangers player to watch. But listen, I think in terms of the team's overall performance in general, like we could have scored more, but again, it shows that, we've still kind of got that. There's like a hint of that kind of go after mentality, that kind of dig deep, especially in the centre of the park as well, where I thought as well, Raskin, barring two brilliant games, barring doing what he does, I think Big Shooter had a great game, motting up at the back. I think he was one of the best players of the night. Cherny had a decent game, minus some wee kind of blip moments, but Cherny's obviously a key player for us. Shame he's on loan. Igmani, I thought, 2 goals and an assist he got as well.
I think so, right.
Phenomenal for just coming on at the blue, and you knew he was, towards the end of the game, he was kind of struggling, maybe a wee bit, a couple of lazy passes. His running wasn't amazing. He rolled his ankle as well.
No, it didn't help.
But I think, like,
I thought that was just going to be your luck. The guy comes on, gets his start in Europe, gets his chance, rolls his ankle. Wouldn't surprise me, honestly, because sometimes when you've got the adrenaline and you've been on the park, you don't want to come off. You try and get on with it, but once your body cools down, we're going to hear that Igmani's going to be out for a month because he's rolled his ankle.
Aye, it wouldn't surprise me if Clement says, Igmani's out for until after Christmas with a dodgy ankle.
Don't take ice off that until the next game at the weekend.
Aye, but
overall, you can't take anything away from, look, the players who started the game. You can only really go out there, play against the opposition. Doesn't matter how good or how bad they are. Ultimately, you're going to an away ground in Europe
with a team that, by the way, is 5th in the French league.
Aye, but
which is mind blowing with the performance.
Fucking disastrous tonight.
Honestly, some of
Not
the
a shape about
positions,
them.
some of the positions they left our defence. There was no defence at
Well,
certain
we were.
points.
I was saying, obviously, just prior to kick-off, I was like, have they got like a ban? What, like,
Aye.
are their fans banned for the stadium? And then it became apparent as the game, played through. I'm like, nah, I understand why nobody's showing up to watch this shower of shite.
Aye.
As that is a bad team.
And at times I was watching Nice and thinking this is arguably worse than I've seen us at times this season with some of the
Definitely.
some of the defensive,
Mate, they were playing 6 midfielders at one point. One just
floating about the back.
one guy just sitting sweeping up at the halfway line, and everybody else just kind of everywhere, and desperately trying to,
was
I don't know, get a goal, do something. It was
brilliant to watch
bizarre.
for a Rangers fans' point of view, but it must have been absolutely tragic sitting in the stands or sitting with the telly and
To
watching
think
that.
we went into that game, 3-1 underdogs, and I wasn't surprised. I absolutely wasn't surprised. I didn't expect us to go in and win this game. In all honesty, I thought we could possibly go and take a draw. I didn't think we would, get decimated, because we do tend to show up, have a solid performance in Europe, as has been the case so far this year. So I didn't expect us to get decimated, but I didn't expect us to come out as 4-1 victors.
Aye.
But we need to use this as a catalyst to do something, to go somewhere, as a turning point, hopefully. Because, see, to be honest, I mean, all the talk, the speculation, the shouts for Clement to go, we've all been questioning whether he's the man for the job, and as the evidence stacks up against him, that game doesn't really change much. We don't think he is the man for the job. But see, at the end of the day, there should be no Rangers fan out there who doesn't want to just see us go on a 10-15 game unbeaten run.
Aye. And the thing is as well,
and that'll certainly save his job.
I know. One thing I'm sick of for myself is hanging my hopes on a European night to be the turning point, because I've done it so many times. We've done it with kind of Malmo.
Aye,
We've done it with this game. We've done it with games in the past where you're like, oh, maybe we're going to turn a corner domestically, and then you go and you play like St Johnstone away, and we revert back to the same old performances, the same old kind of wacky decisions, the same old, starting lineup where, we line up with Dessers and Tav. We know exactly where the game's going to go. But, listen, we've hung our hopes of this season on like maybe this change is made and it's went well. Hopefully follows through and recognises that big changes needed in this squad, and we kind of get another flat performance with a kind of patronising press conference after it. And I mean, fair play to the players tonight, fair play to Clement for the selection, the way we played and stuff like that. But we're at the stage now where these kind of performances aren't allowed to paper over the cracks anymore.
No.
They can't. And you might come and say, oh, you've been quite negative with a 4-1 win. The 4-1 win's great, but it's no the glaring issue we've got at the club right now. The glaring issue is a total lack of consistency and a flat performance.
What that reminds me of the
before
night
this game
is when you're playing somebody at FIFA and they just, I'm away for dinner, leave the controller. That's kind of what it was like. You just run through and you could just score endlessly. So, like you say, I mean, this isn't the one thing that will save Clement and redeem this side. It's no, because Clement's got one fat task ahead of him, and that is, how do you break teams down domestically?
Aye. How
do you score 4 goals against a team that's going to sit and let you have possession? How do you take your chances? And hopefully, with a change of personnel up top, bringing in Igmani or using Danilo, hopefully that is going to be the answer, because we need to start dusting teams. If they're going to just sit behind the ball, I don't care what format, it doesn't matter. Play the low block, defend until your heart's content. if we've got the ball, we should have good enough players who can break teams down, that can take their chances, and honestly, that can be utterly ruthless. And that's a word I'm sure Clement used after the Dundee United game. He said, we need to be more ruthless. A word to that effect, at least. And it's necessary. And look, this is going to be a make or break period, absolutely, over the next
I think
month and a half.
December always is. It's like the games come thick and fast, and
Tough fixtures, big fixtures,
100%. And I think a big check mark in the season's always that, New Year kind of period, Old Firm, where you kind of get to. It almost kind of tells you whereabouts you're going to go for the rest of the season, because obviously,
I mean, now it tells us literally. I mean, remember how far we are behind at this point in the season. Normally,
we go for like 11 points. Are we 11 points now? I can't mind. I've lost count.
I think
I've
it
lost
is.
count.
I think it's 11.
But even that you end up 9 points. You still need to rely on them slitting up 3 games and us battering on. It's just the way.
Say we're 11 points behind, we lose and then imagine we don't drop any other points in the league up until that game. You lose that game, you're 14 points behind. I mean, let's be honest, troops, it's already game over the now.
Aye.
I mean, we're no kidding ourselves here.
No. And even if a new manager come in and a new manager's bounced,
it doesn't matter, mate. We're already 11 points behind.
Aye.
I mean, sometimes it might be less than that separates you at the end of the season. Do you know what I mean? So we could ultimately rely on ourselves. Honestly, winning every game for here at the end of the season, that means beating Celtic, no slitting up against Aberdeen again, or any other tie, home or away, seems incredibly unlikely, honestly impossible. But what we can do is simply throw in the towel.
Aye.
The league might be gone already, we're not even into December yet. But, I mean, the players
There's still silverware to play for.
There's still silverware to play for. There's still European football. And ultimately, all they need to do is exert as much pressure as possible in those above them in the league.
Aye.
They need to whenever Aberdeen or Celtic slip up, we must capitalise. It's necessary. And simply, we cannot afford to drop points against either side.
Yep.
That's...
And listen,
if you want to have a slight, tiny, thinnest chance of possibly, try to compete for this league title, which again we're saying is a highly unlikely scenario, obviously. But what, you're not thrown in the fucking towel in November.
100%. Listen,
you're having a laugh, man.
Europa League, Europe in general we need to change our mentality. It needs to, at this point, at least for the next couple of years, be nothing but a bonus, nothing but a complete bonus. But anyway, we want you to jump into the comments and let us know what you think about the game, what you think about our opinions in the game. Remember to like and subscribe as well, and all the links to our socials are down in the description, so if you can jump over there and give us a follow, that'd be class. And we'll see you next time.